In this series, we're going to go over the plug-in hybrid, which is almost the same performance numbers as the 330i. BMW of Wesley Chapel gives us the 2023 BMW 330e in Phytonic Blue Metallic. And in this review, we will show you the updated technology with the iX screen, the updates on the exterior for the front and rear, more sleek and boxy, comparing it to other luxury brands that will be plug-in. And in this category, there's not a lot. You still get 22 miles all electric unless you option the X-Drive. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. I'm gonna go over all the specs and details starting now. The BMW 330e sedan reworks headlamps and daytime runnings, more boxy image, lower grille with the L-shaped air vents on the lower. It will mimic a 2 Series, except the 2 Series will not have the vents in the center. Striking stance going into these 19-inch 5 double-spoke alloy wheels with the disc reading behind it at 13.7, the rear at 13.6 inches, a weight distribution at 48.6, 51.4, and a curb weight of 4,083 pounds. Off the 7th Gen G20, a length at 185.9 with a wheelbase at 112.2 inches. I'm going to compare this against a Lexus ES because there's not a lot of hybrid variants out there. It's going to be longer than this vehicle, and also a Volvo S60 Recharge. Now, both of these will configure to a higher price point than this. Charging is going to take about 3 hours with a 230 volt, a level 2. And if you do a 110, you're looking at nearly 10 hours of a charge for 22 miles all electric. The Volvo will go up to around 41 miles, but that price tag can escalate to nearly 2 times the price of this. The Lexus, you're getting 44 mpgs, where this is going to get over 70 mpges. Reworked LED tail lamps, and the rear is going to mimic the front with the same box structure, and on the lower it's going to get a little bit more athletic. You can option a M Sport, which will give you the Shadowline trim. It will increase your braking to a 4-piston in the front, a single floating caliper for the rear. Cargo space starts at 17 cubic feet, and because this is a hybrid, you're going to lose a little bit of that. So what they've done is they made you storage underneath, and this also rises up to make it nice and flat. Storage here on the side. The rear bench splits at a 40-20-40 split in the back. That will increase the cargo to this hybrid. This is a twin power turbo inline 4-cylinder. Let's go inside, start it up so you can hear that exhaust note. It's a plug-in hybrid. You're not going to expect something like an M440i, and that price would escalate $10,000 to $15,000. Your performance numbers would be a little bit more. However, the 330e backed the performance with a 2.0-liter BMW twin-power turbo inline 4-cylinder, which is a twin-scroll turbo, producing 189 horsepower for the engine, 107 horsepower for the electric motor, with a combined total at 288 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. That's paired to an 8-speed sport automatic transmission, achieving 73 mpges with 22 miles all electric. X-Drive will get 20 miles all electric and 27 combined mpgs. That's good for a 0 to 60 at 5.6 seconds with a top speed up to 142 miles per hour. Quarter mile around 14 seconds. Now, what do these numbers equivalent to? This is going to be faster than the Lexus, a touch slower than the Volvo. However, like I was saying, Both two of those can escalate the price a lot more than this. If you're looking at an Audi or a Mercedes, you're not getting a plug-in variant, and this will be faster than their base models. Genesis is offering a G90, which will have over 400 horsepower, but it's also going to be a longer vehicle, very similar to the Lexus ES. So in competition, it's really hard to find anything that comes to the performance of the BMW. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2023 BMW 330e sedan as we go inside, go over the tech, and take this for our drive. Entering inside, the BMW 330e is going to receive 38.7 inches of headroom, 42 inches of legroom, Vanesca leather, 14-way power seat adjustments, heated seats with manual cushion extensions, revised dash with the new IX screen, so you have a 14.9 touch screen in the center. We have navigation, we got the pinch and the swipe. When you click onto the home button, you have all of these wedges that you can configure it any which way you like. New gear lever, which is now a push, which will put it into reverse with full trajectory, and you can see the front and rear parking sensors. The one screen panel goes into the driver cockpit with a 12.3 digital reader. You can change the configuration to make it more sport derived. You can also do that with the BC here. And you can also toggle that through here, so you can change out the whole configuration in the center and for your heads-up display. 3-spoke leather-wrapped steering wheel, multi-function with the paddle shifters. You will have a storage compartment here with a USB and a 12-volt between your cup holders. The new configuration with the iDrive 8, it's going to be more sport derived, open up inside, and it's a pretty wide storage with USB ports. Going back onto that dash that just flows into the door panels with your speaker setup on the top, everyday materials, memory seats for the driver, one touch up and down for all the windows, and the ambient lighting in the satin aluminum with a large storage pocket. For the back seats, I'm at 37.6 inches of headroom, 35.2 inches of legroom. This is a smaller sedan, but it still has optimal space for somebody that's 6'3". It's going to push you inwards a little bit because of the bolstering on the side. Third, climate control setting, 2 USB ports in your air vents, storage beyond both of the front seats. The door panel receives the ambient lighting underneath your one touch up and down, and you have more of your everyday materials throughout the rest with a large storage pocket in the front for a bottle and a smaller in the rear. Sitting into the center, headroom is not an issue, nor is legroom, but feet, butt, and shoulder space because it's not the widest vehicle. So the interior for the back hasn't done anything really different in the sense of making it easier for 3 occupants. Not a huge fan of plug-in hybrids, but 258 horsepower is what you're getting. They do have a boost mode, which gives you an additional 41 horsepower for 10 seconds. So you will get your 0 to 60 at least. You're not necessarily going to get the quarter mile because it's obviously not that fast in the quarter mile. But 22 miles is pretty good for full electric. Just the charging at 3 hours is a little bit excessive in the sense of you're at a 230 volt charge, which is a level 2, so it is okay. But if you do a 110, you're about 9.5 hours. So 73 mpges combined. I mean, it is something to digest. Also, if you have to replace this motor, or the battery, I should say, it's about $4,000. Because usually when you're thinking about hybrids, you typically think Toyota or Lexus. You're not really thinking anything other than a mild hybrid technology. Here, they actually went all in and gave you a hybrid, which it's not insane. It's just, again, you don't see this that much in a 50 grand price. That's luxury and performance all blended in. 0 to 60 about 5.6 seconds. We got the extra boost. Here we go. Does it still give you a BMW fun drive is really the question that needs to be asked, and I think it does. If you're looking for a 330 and you use that little bit of boost, it really does push you back a little bit more so than a 330i. So I think they've done a good job with that. And I mean, overall, performance with the MPGs blended, it's good. However, it's going to take me to some things I like and dislike. I'm going to go over that right now. Starting off with what I like about the vehicle, this is one of few that get this many MPGs that is under a $50,000 price tag with a 4-year warranty, and it is a BMW. That's a lot to swallow and digest. The second thing that I like about it is they don't necessarily alter anything when they go into the hybrid. So you're still getting your 330i, just now it's an E variant, and they have now tweaked the front and the rear. Testing the brakes, does a pretty decent job, and I can still see the heads-up display with polarized glasses. It's obviously not going to be as colorful with them on, but you can still see it. The last thing that I like is the seat settings. You get 14-way power seat adjustment with manual cushion extensions. You will not get that with the Lexus until you're spending more than $50,000, $60,000, and the same thing with the Volvo. Three things that I dislike: 22-mile range. I like that we get it, it's a little low in the sense of the numbers, because if you get a base S60, you're at 41-mile range and you're just a few $1,000s more, but you will lose interior space and cargo space. Dynamics, if you need this 330 to move, it will do so, so you have all the play and the fun to drive. The second thing that I dislike about the vehicle is the driver focus setup. Because this is a smaller interior width and these are larger screens, I kind of wish that they pivoted just a little differently, because what happens is the driver cluster looks like it's just kind of going into the door panel the way they configured it. If it was more oval shape to make it fully driver configurable, I think it would look a little bit more tailored. This just looks like it came out of every BMW and they threw it in here, in which it came out of the iX. The last thing that I dislike goes to the back seats, because it's also kind of oval shape for the back, meaning the bolsters are like this instead of flat. It pushes the occupants that's on either side more towards the center, making it a little bit more undesirable for a center occupant. Also, the floor isn't flat, but that's not necessarily a huge deal, because even a G70 has the same thing, or an Audi A5. Just in this case, it pushes you over a little bit too much, so for a long journey, you basically are sitting like this or like this, in which you can get a little uncomfortable. But for an everyday and fun to drive, look at this thing. I mean, you are getting up to speeds pretty quick. It's a lot faster than the Lexus. It's going to be just a touch slower than the Volvo, but that thing has over 440 horsepower, so it is crazy when you get into the recharge. The same thing with the new G90. That's going to have over 400 horsepower, so it's hard to really compare it against vehicles with that much power underneath the hood. And also, the price point escalates. You can nearly buy 1.5 of these when you look at those variants. So what BMW has done is taken their 330i, changing it to an E for an everyday plug-in hybrid experience, getting optimal gas consumption and still a fun to drive vehicle. I like to thank BMW of Wesley Chapel for giving us this 2023 BMW 330e sedan for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, I don't know what you're waiting for. Click the next video and the subscribe button. Check out the merchandise, Instagram and website, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Rides.